Okay, what I'm going to do here, put this piece of snakeskin on a Zippo. First thing I'm going to do, cut it down the middle, as straight as possible. One half for the bottom, one half for the top. You want to keep them oriented the same. So I'm going to start out by putting some super glue on the hinge side. It's always best to have your seam on the hinge side. This Zippo has been tested already with a piece of snakeskin and I messed it up. So I'm just going to go right over top of the old snakeskin where I peeled it off. Put the glue on the side where the hinge is, about halfway between the front and the back. And glob it on the front. Doesn't have to be even, because we're going to take a little piece of cardboard here and smooth the glue out. Once you smooth it out, the entire surface of the Zippo should be covered. Make sure you have the lid open, otherwise you're going to end up gluing your lid to it. I'm going to start out putting it a little more than halfway. That's going to cover the hinge partially, but we're going to cut that out later. The important thing is that you get it nice and even with the top of the lid, top of the bottom. Stretch it a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. Smooth it out really nice. Push it down, make sure it's all glued down everywhere. Okay, the front is done. I'm going to let that set for just a few seconds here. Super glue dries really quick. And if you mess up, there's not much you can do except for peel it off and start over with a new piece of skin. So now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, only this side I'm going to cover completely with glue. Glob it on all over. Cover the back side. Glob it on. Then, of course, I'm going to take a little piece of cardboard. I'm going to smooth it out so that the entire surface of the Zippo is covered with super glue. Got several pieces of cardboard because I know I don't want to use them over. Once I do that, I throw them away. I'll bring my snakeskin around, stretching it slightly around the side, around the back, trying to keep it nice and even with the lid, the top of the bottom. Nice and smooth. Push it down really good. Okay, almost done with that part. Now, let that set up just a few seconds. Now I'm going to cut it, making sure that it covers the entire bottom of the Zippo. Try and cut it nice and straight so you get a good seam. That looks pretty good. Now, this time instead of applying the glue to the Zippo, I'm going to apply it right to the snakeskin. Get it all the way out to the end. And this time I'm not going to use the cardboard, I'm just going to coat it with the glue. Now I'm just going to roll it around. You'll get a little glue on your thumb, but that's okay. Just make sure you don't glue the Zippo to your thumb. Now after I'm done, I'm going to coat the entire Zippo with super glue is a sealant. That's going to make sure all the scales stay down and don't pop up on you. Of course, the bottom, that's going to have to be trimmed. But we ain't going to worry about that right now. We're just going to get this nice and smooth, hold it down really good. Keep in mind that super glue is extremely flammable. So if you're going to smoke, be careful. The fresher the snake hide, the better. The longer the snake hide sits, it gets drier and drier and drier. I'm just going to scrape off some of that excess glue there with my thumbnail. That looks pretty good. Let it dry just a little bit here before I do the top. Of course, when I do the top, I'm going to do the same thing I did to the bottom. But before I do the top, I'm going to trim the hinge just a little bit here. Use a sharp razor blade. Don't ever use a sharp razor blade with your bare hands. You cut your finger right off. Of course, I'm not much for safety. I'm more interested in getting the job done. So if you use it and do it like I am, don't try and sue me if you cut your finger off, because I warned you not to do it like I'm doing it. There, now the hinge is exposed, which is what you want. I've made a few of these with the hinge covered up, and then I run into problems with it stiffens it up and it's hard to open. Plus it don't open all the way. Different types of snakeskin work a lot better than others, and I'm not sure what type of skin this is, but I'm not real happy with it. But I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out pretty nice. So just to make sure I get the top of the skin lined up with the bottom of the skin, I'm going to start where this is, because I can see real good where the top and bottom line up. So I'm going to start by gluing the back of the lid. I'm going to glue the entire back surface of the lid. Glob it on. Take another piece of cardboard, smooth it out, make sure the entire surface is coated. And I'm going to quickly close it, line it up. I'm using the scales as a guide to line the top and the bottom up. That's why it's important to only slightly stretch it, because you have to stretch it evenly across to keep the scales lined up, top and bottom. That's looking pretty good. Make sure not to leave it closed, because if there's any glue sticking out, you won't be able to open your Zippo. So now, I want the front to come around first for the seam, so that my seams match too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue the side, glob it on, super glue the front, glob it on, take another little piece of cardboard, and smooth the glue out, making sure to coat the entire surface of the Zippo. Now I'm going to close my lid so I can see where my scales line up. stretch it across, not stretching too much, but enough so that the scales line up.